Well, hello, accounting students. Here we are in the final week of the course, Module 7, Week 7 for summer of 23. The time did really go very, very quickly. So this video, we're going to talk about what we need to do to wrap up the class, what we're doing this week, and I guess everything that we need to know here to finish this course out. All right, so let's take a look at what we're doing this week. If you watched last week's video, well, we had a nice preview of what we were doing because hopefully some of you were working on that final exam. The final exam is a design your own final, my famous or infamous, however you want to think of it, design your own final. You get to pick 25 questions. Again, recapping from last week's video, pick 25 questions. Make sure you're answering the questions sufficiently, which will probably be anywhere from, maybe 2 to 5 sentences. Probably the sweet spot is 3 sentences. You might find a couple of them in there that only need 1 sentence, but be careful. If it was me, I would always shoot for 3 sentences, kind of good content on each one of those items. They're pretty easy to do. I mean, you could write books on some of these ones, so 3 sentences shouldn't be hard, and you get to pick the ones that you want to do. I did have a text message earlier today. One of the students was asking how they should number them. Just please use the number of the question that you have chosen. It just makes it easier for grading for me because oh, okay, this was question number 10. Where did it come from? So I can just match them up and, kind of in the way I grade. So again, just, whatever number, if you pick 6, 13, 23, whatever, just put the number of that question in there. And if you could, please put the question itself, and then put your 3 sentences underneath that. Okay? And you'll be golden. No reason for you not to get all the points in this assignment. Okay? So it's there if you want it. It's not a mystery. You can definitely get the points if you want it. All right, let me go back to the module. Again, for Module 6, so you have your final exam due by the end of class, which is Sunday at midnight. Everything, late work, case studies, whatever, everything has to be in by Sunday at midnight. Again, some of you are missing some assignments. That is what's going to kill you as far as letter grade goes. So definitely try to get in as much as you can. Even if it's not your best effort, hey, getting 50 points on a 100-point assignment is better than a 0 because that will kill your letter grade right there. If you lose a full 100 points. So make sure you get everything in that you can. If you have multiple assignments that haven't been turned in, strategize. That's what I would do. I would okay, I didn't get that case study in. That's a huge one. I better get that one in rather than maybe some smaller, 35-pointer. But if time allows, I'm going to try to knock those out as well. So just use some strategy. It's all about getting the points to get the grade that you want. I know all of us want to get a nice grade in this class. A B, and most of you will probably get A's as long as you get everything in and a good faith effort. All right, so there's that. Everything's due when? Sunday at midnight. Get it all in. Okay, so we got to design your own final. Another progress journal, easy stuff. You just tell me your thoughts. That's easy points there. I did appreciate the last progress journal. You guys did great. I appreciated the feedback and information that you had there, so that was very helpful. And then we do have one more extra credit. So this is I run this in every class that I do. Mercy core values, tying it back into that subject that we're learning, in this case, accounting. Tying those Mercy core values back into that and expressing that. So that's a pretty easy assignment if you need the points. It's there if you need it. So 25 extra points. All right, so that's it for this week. We've got the final and the progress journal and extra credit. Remember, going back, case study. You had 2 weeks. I introduced it in Module 6, gave you some more time to do that. Again, this case study, probably not as hard as the last one. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in the case, don't get me wrong. But as far as what you have to do, you only have to pick with this case study, you only have to do 2 of the 4 questions. So pick any 2 and make sure you're right. Where some points were taken off in the last case study. Again, the vast majority were fantastic, but if you only are doing, a couple sentences, that's not going to work. You're going to lose some significant points. Again, full paragraphs, probably more than one, on whichever of these 2 that you like. I mean, people, whatever reason, they love number 4. In your opinion, what are your learning points? Pick 2 or 3 right there. You can pick 2. There's 2 nice paragraphs. What did you learn? Why is that important? Easy. So, yeah, pick whichever 4, whatever 2 out of the 4 that you want, and answer them in a nice, robust fashion with some good thoughts, and bringing back, of course, what we've learned in accounting, bringing back some of the language and principles that we've learned all the way through the 7 weeks to kind of show me that, hey, you're applying some of the knowledge that we've learned. All right, so that's that case study. So make sure you get that in this week as well. Some of you already have that turned in. A good majority, I'd say about half of you have that turned in. That should be graded soon. So even though it's not technically due until the end, as you're getting these things in, I'm going to try to knock out the grading. I know some of you want to know. Again, I had a text earlier as well. Some of you want to know, like, what's my point total? Do I need to do the extra credit? So I'm going to try to keep up on the grading. If all of your items aren't graded by today's Tuesday afternoon, by Wednesday, I should be caught up. So you can look in there and look at your points and think, okay, I'm a little shy. Let me do that extra credit, or let me do both the extra credits. But I will do my best to keep on top of that because I know everybody's anxious about points. Let's see. That's pretty much it. So that pretty much covers it. Again, get everything in by Sunday at midnight, and you'll be absolutely fantastic for doing fantastic in this course. When can you get your final grade? That's usually the big question. I have to have grades in by Monday at noon. So anything that's in that Dropbox, I mean, that's my get up early, 5 o'clock in the morning, and make sure I get everything graded, because sometimes there's quite a bit. And you should be able to access those grades later on that day in Empower. Go in Empower, and you can look at your final grade for the course. And then I think double check me on this. Let me impromptu here. I probably should have done this before I shot the video, but let's take a look here. I always want to double check myself before I say this. Okay, yes. All right. So as always, as usual, we have the week off in between the first 7 weeks and the second 7 weeks of summer. So your next class, first class of summer, second session, 7 weeks, is July 3rd. Oh, isn't that lovely? You'll come back and then we'll be off for a day. Love that. Yeah. But so you got a week off, recharge the batteries, and then you'll be ready to go. Now, for some of you that are continuing on in kind of the series, the accounting and finance series, the next class will be the finance class. I think a lot of you are, because I got quite a few students in that class. So that's the class that's probably more enjoyable, to be honest with you, because the accounting is sort of the boring fundamentals. The application of this knowledge really is the finance. And that is where you as a manager, that's what you're paid for. You're paid as a manager in healthcare and anywhere. You're not really paid so much for the physical labor that you do. You're really paid for the decisions that you make and kind of how you organize your department and, I guess, conduct business. But a part of that, the biggest part, is decision making, 100%. And that's what finance is about. How do we buy that piece of equipment that we need? How do we prioritize? Do we buy the MRI scanner, or do we buy 2 CT scanners instead? These are choices that finance can help us make. Not always perfect. If it was, all businesses would be, run perfectly. But it is the best thing we've got in helping us make decisions, both for our business and personally as well. Now, though this is not a personal finance class, a lot of people say, "Hey, we're going to learn about personal finance." I do have a personal finance class that I run every now and then for 1 credit hour. Just stay tuned. I'm not sure when I'm going to run that next, maybe in the spring of next year. But the what you'll learn in finance from a business and operation standpoint, organization standpoint, definitely can apply in personal life as well. So there you go. So that's kind of, if you're hanging on, I'll see you in a couple of weeks in our finance class. And the good news is you get to use the same book. Maybe good news, bad news. I know that textbook is not great. It was originally, I looked for a textbook that we'd get the most bang for the buck. And that book covered a lot of stuff. And students could buy that one book or rent it. Hopefully you're not buying books. Rent that one book and then carry that through for both classes, which are always run are run sequentially, in the semester, so they can keep that book throughout the entire semester. So save the book, don't burn it yet or return it, because we will be using that in finance if you're coming along in our next part. All right, that pretty much covers it, guys. Been a fantastic group, great. I've been very, very impressed with the level of work that's come out of this group. Usually in the summer, it's hit or miss, and I get it. It's, summertime, and a lot of us are, we have a lot of other competing interests, but you guys have done very well, especially the learning activities. Did a great job with that, and pretty impressed with that last case study too. There was some good analysis there. And so there's some great effort this summer. So give yourself a pat on the back. But finish strong. We still got a few more days. Make sure you get everything in by Sunday at midnight. And because there's no way for me to track you all down if something's missing, I just have to go with what's in the grade book and what's in the Dropbox at that point. So, all right, you guys have a great rest of the week. And if I don't see you in the next class, everybody have a fantastic rest of the summer. And for those of you that are carrying along, in a couple of weeks, I'll see you in our finance class. So again, everybody have a great week. And I will not be checking in with you by the end of this class. This will be our last check-in video. But if anything does come up, you know how to get a hold of me. I'm pointing to my phone. You can text me or you can email me. All right, everybody, have a great week. Thanks.